This next news story comes from The Verge, written by Ash Parrish. Overwatch 2's director explains why its big PvE mode was canceled.
I don't care. You did it. I don't care. I don't care. Whatever reasoning you have, it's not going to be sufficient.
I'm just gonna get to the bit here real quick. So he apologized.
You can read it. Go ahead. I need to grab something anyway.
Okay. Game director Aaron Keller published a blog in which he apologized for the seemingly sudden cancellation of a portion of Overwatch 2's PvE content. The blog also shared some detail about the origins of the Overwatch PvE, the shifting vision for the content, and why the team decided to axe it. Earlier this week, in a developer live stream that shared the rest of Overwatch 2's 2023 roadmap, Keller and the executive producer Jared Noose made the shocking announcement that highly anticipated Hero Mode, one part of the game's PvE content, had been scraped. Hero Mode was essentially a single-player version of Overwatch. Keller described it as a game mode that allowed players to upgrade individual heroes through talent trees, providing a deeply replayable version of PvE in Overwatch 2. Keller explained that Hero Mode had been in development since Overwatch launch in 2016, and it apparently was part of the vision the team had for the Project Titan, the canceled FPS MMO from which Overwatch was born. When we launched Overwatch in 2016, we quickly started talking about what the next iteration would be, he wrote. Work began on the PvE portion of the game. We steadily continued shifting more and more of the team to work on those features. Keller said that as development continued on Hero Mode, the scope simply grew too big. We were trying to do too many things at once, and we lost focus. We had an exciting but gargantuan vision, and we were continuously pulling resources away from the live game in an attempt to realize it. In the first few years of Overwatch Prime's existence, the game was regularly updated with holiday-themed content. New game modes and features like Deathmatch and the Creators Workshop kept the game relatively fresh. But around 2019, when Overwatch 2 was announced, the game was starting to feel the effects of Blizzard internally focusing on the development of PvE content. That's why the game went 2 years between hero releases when they had been previously released every 4 to 5 months. As development on Overwatch 2 continued, the team made the decision to essentially bifurcate the game's release rather than continuing to delay it. The competitive multiplayer part of the game would come first, landing in October 2022, and the PvE portion would come sometime in 2023. After Overwatch 2 had launched, we started refining our plans for future seasons, Keller wrote, and as those plans grew, we tried to find ways to make all of the ambitions fit together in a plan that we believed in. We couldn't. So we made the difficult decision to cut hero missions and start planning for the future. Keller then apologized, acknowledging just how much the Overwatch community and development team were invested in Hero Mode while taking personal responsibility for its failure. This has been hard for us, but as a director on this project, I have to do my best to make decisions that put the game and the community first, even when those decisions are disappointing, he wrote. In this case, I had trouble pivoting away from a vision that just wasn't working, and for that, I would like to apologize to our players and to our team. I'm sorry. So, essentially, the reason they canceled it is because they had been developing this mode technically since before Overwatch, the first game, came out. And they've been developing it, eventually turned into Overwatch 2, developing it, and just could never nail down what exactly they wanted. And so eventually they just canceled it, even though it was literally the point of Overwatch 2, which is bizarre. Adrian, being a big Overwatch fan, how's this hit you?
I don't even know where to start, honestly, with this. Like I said at the top of the show, dude, I am such a massive fan of Overwatch and the Overwatch IP, and I don't know. I don't know what happened. Like, they were showing stuff off in 2019, you know, of what we could be looking forward to and previews of stuff that they were tinkering with for Hero Mode. And then it's honestly kind of weird that they kept saying, well, the PvE mode kept pulling people away from the PvP, but you had already got the PvP down. There was not much really that you needed to work on with it. Like, the core gameplay is there. So outside of balancing, what were you really doing that was vastly different that needed, all hands on deck for the PvP?
I mean, the only thing
that's
they mentioned,
the weird part.
The only thing they mentioned was like characters. Like they said with Overwatch 1, character releases went from 4 to 5 months to like over a year till the next character or whatever. But like, I feel like that's more an issue with like whoever just made the teams, like team planning. That's just poor team planning. Like,
yes,
I feel like you can, like, these games are definitely making enough money to have a team big enough to work on multiplayer and keep new characters coming out and also work on PvE. Like, there's no reason why Activision Blizzard, one of the biggest, gaming developers in the world, couldn't kind of.
Not to mention, I think Overwatch is probably one of their top, like, grossing IP. So if they just would have asked for it, I'm sure Activision would have supplied, them with the capital to get more staff to work on it.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
There's no way if I'm Bobby Kotick and I see, oh man, this Overwatch thing it's making us, billions. What? They need more people? No, we can't figure it out.
Yeah,
we can't do it.
Sorry. Yeah. To me, it comes down to like, it really just seems like this director just doesn't know how to manage teams. Like, I don't know.
Which is fair because
no offense to him, like I don't know who he is. Like maybe he's fantastic at managing teams, but in this case, like it just the excuse doesn't make sense. It just doesn't add up. Like
so
that's all I'm saying.
This director is actually not the original Overwatch director. So the original Overwatch director left shortly before this, Jeff Kaplan, and he was the one that got Overwatch to he steered the ship to get Overwatch where it is now.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like after he left, everything just kind of went haywire because he felt like he actually cared about Overwatch. I don't know if that makes sense. Like this was his baby, right? So once he left, I think that drive and that fire left with him to, kind of make Overwatch what everybody is looking for it to be. And it just never recovered. And it sucks,
Man,
when you have the vision, but you can tell people what to do with it, before you leave. Hey, this is my vision for the game. You should do this, this, and this. But that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to have the skills or the ethic to pull it off like you can. And I think that's just what happened is the new guy came in and, things were already in place one way and he just, it didn't work with his style and everything kind of just imploded, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's sad, especially for that was literally the point of Overwatch 2. Like, yeah, there's no reason for Overwatch 2 except that they were like, oh, we need to upgrade and update some things to make this work with the single player deal. And it
could have just been an update for You didn't need to call it 2. And Overwatch could just have been a platform.
Yeah. And so the fact that they did all that and then to pull the one reason that they did the change, it's like, I just don't.
You could have called it Overwatch Update 2.0.
Right. I mean, that's what
that way it's still Overwatch.
Fortnite does their seasons. Let's do season whatever.
Overwatch Chapter 2 or whatever. You could have done anything then call it Overwatch 2. It's not a sequel. This is not a sequel to this game. Yeah. It is the same game.
Yeah.
So wild. No, that sucks. It sucks. Wild. I don't know if Overwatch is going to recover from this because they've already lost a ton of players even before the announcement that PvE was getting cut. Just because everybody kind of figured out that it was just Overwatch 1 again. Even though you can try to make it free to play as much as you want, but if there's nothing to make them stick around like the first one, then they're going to leave, which they've done. So
yeah,
I don't know if we see Overwatch come out of this, which would really, like I said, be a detriment to games as a whole to see an IP as brilliant as Overwatch go to the wayside. But what can we do? You never want something to fail, but you also have to, potentially read the room if something is in danger.
Yeah. Yeah. Man. Hopefully they can figure something out. Who knows? Maybe they'll in the next 6 months get their act together and be like, just kidding. You know what? We figured out something. We're going to make this work. Like the best case scenario. But yeah, unfortunately it feels like that's kind of a lost cause at this point. Thank you so much for watching that clip from our podcast. Remember, if you want to watch the whole episode, the full episode, link will be in the description below. You can click on that and check it out. We got listener questions. We got more news segments. We got what you playing. We got a lot of fun things. So yeah, more than just the news. There's a lot more to the show that you should go check out. So remember, click that link in the description. Check out that full episode.